Okay, let's be honest, July was a bit of a meh month for my portfolio, although I did sell two stocks. One made a big profit and the other one was a bit of a loser. So I'll explain why I sold them and I'll show you how my portfolio of about 60,000 euros is doing this month. Hello finance people, my name is Robert and I'm here to share with you my learnings and experiences about personal finance as a European. So let's jump into my portfolio tracker and I'll explain the situation. So let's take a look at stocks and you can see that I have 3 stocks left and they didn't do that well this month. In July I lost about 5% and that's 500 euros just in July. The biggest driver for that were Microsoft and Amazon. You can see that here, that's basically the majority part of it. Now, I mentioned that I sold 2 stocks. One of them was Nokia, so I sold a small part of my Nokia stake, and I want to take a look at those. If we go to the transactions, you have here my Nokias. You can see that on 18th, I actually sold. I didn't sell everything, and there were kind of 2 reasons why I sold Nokia. First of all, it was already on my to-do list for a long time. I want to get rid of it. I bought it a long time ago and it just doesn't grow. It doesn't have the potential. So I wanted to get rid of part of it. And the second reason, I'm going to come to it in a second because it's the same reason as I also sold Tesla. So I actually lost money on this trade because when I bought them, and if I take into account everything, you can see here that plus here is actually a bad thing. I lost 350 euros, and if you consider that I bought it with 900 euros, that's a pretty bad trade. So I lost, what was that, like 30% of the value. So not happy with that. I still have here a bigger share of my Nokias, but I'm gonna get to why I sold part of it. So let's take a look next at Tesla, which I also sold this month, and you can see that here it's a different story. So on 19th I actually set a trailing stop loss just because EV market has been fluctuating a lot, especially Tesla stock has been fluctuating a lot, and I already doubled my money on this stock. So I wanted to set quite restrictive trailing stop loss, and I think it was 10 or 12%. So if the stock dips by 10%, then it will just sell the stock. And that's what happened on 19th. And actually, I'm happy that it did it because I sold it for $239, whereas right now I think it's trading at around $200. So if I look at a realized profit from this trade, you can see that Tesla is 5,757 euros. So I more than doubled my money, and that's within 2 years, I think. I did some trades here, but you can see it's only 2 shares. But this was these 2 trades were where I actually made my money. You can see I bought them for really cheap, around $100, and I sold them twice. So I sold at the beginning of this year and also sold now in July. And you can see that the prices were just so much higher than what I bought them. So I'm pretty happy. The second reason I also sold this is because I'm using another broker called Lynx. I think it's a Dutch one, and it's built on top of Interactive Brokers, but they're so much more expensive than Interactive Brokers, and I have an account with both. So I thought, okay, I want to kind of move my assets anyway, so now I'm able to do that. Now I'm going to just close that account because what's the point of paying more if you get the same service? And by the way, I'm sharing all of this, but you shouldn't copy what I do. I just want to kind of explain my thoughts behind it. I am not a pro. I don't know what I'm actually doing. I'm just trying to do my best. I have my main motivation is not to lose money with trades. So that's why I'm really, I would say, risk averse, although I do invest into individual stocks. In this case, it turned out quite well. So I'm happy how this went. And by the way, if you want to download this investment portfolio tracker sheet, just grab it. You can download it from the first link in the description. So next, let's take a look at ETFs. And ETFs did, well, they were okay. There's nothing really to report about them. My biggest stake is still in VUSA, and you can see that it's 0.5% up. So I made 150 euros from ETF. So not very exciting times, but I know I'm recording this now in the beginning of August, and it's getting really excited right now. So in my next update, I'll tell you more what I did and how I dealt with the turbulence that we're having right now. But in July, really boring month. And speaking of ETFs, I've started a newsletter where I share my thoughts about investing and personal finance from a European perspective. For example, in the last edition, I dove into whether you should invest euros or dollars when buying US stock. If you want to receive the weekly newsletter, just sign up. The link is in the video description. Okay, let's take a look. Crypto, there was some movement there. Ripple went up by 30%, and I had a bit of, I would say, quite stable Bitcoin rise by 2%. So I made about 300 euros this month and 3% rise just in July. Nothing crazy. June was much better month for me, but it's nice that some of these trades are actually compensating for the losses with stocks I had so far. Next one is peer-to-peer lending, and I have those two, Mintos and Esketit. I've invested about 2,500 in each, and for some reason Mintos didn't show any progress this month. I think it's just because I looked at it in the beginning of the month. I think it will get updated within a few days, but right now it didn't show anything. But so far both of them on track to produce about 10 to 12% yearly return on investment, which is what they kind of promised when I signed up with them. So if we take a look overall my performance in July, you can see that I made minus 17 euros. That's not too bad. I'm a bit behind S&P 500, which was about 1%. That's always my kind of a goal to beat it a little bit or be on par with it, but this month it didn't work out. And you also notice that my overall value for my portfolio has gone down. That's just because I'm not including those profits from Tesla in here anymore. Just because it's a bit hard to include the realized profit in here because I'm comparing month over month, so it might just give you a wrong impression. But overall, quite stable month. I'm just happy that I was able to make some profit from that Tesla stock. Well, it took like a year and a half to make the 6,000 euros, which is amazing result for me. I don't think I've ever had that kind of result before. Now, I've been investing for the last 7 years, and there are a few mistakes that I really wish I hadn't made. Without them, my portfolio would have been double the size. So that's why I created this video right here, so you can avoid losing time and money by making the same mistakes.